in a car crash on January the 2nd. He was declared dead at the hospital on Sunday. The driver accused of hitting him didn't have insurance or registration. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk, 92.7 Action News now.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
I went whitewater rafting a few years back, and man, it was fun. This is Bruce Dodd with People's Home Equity, a mortgage company right here in Chattanooga. The water was up that day, and the rapids were pretty challenging. Our guide had traveled the river hundreds of times before and knew exactly where to go and how to approach each rapid. I learned that it's important to know when to paddle, when to coast, and that communication is vital. The mortgage world has become a lot like a whitewater trip. We do mortgages all day, every day. Your mortgage is our priority. If you're looking to move this year, then get the pre-qualification process started with professionals who can help you navigate the mortgage industry. We know when to paddle and when to coast. If you're ready to move, call us at People's Home Equity, 423-591-9801.
People's Home Equity is still closing loans in less than 30 days. Call them now to get pre-qualified. 423-591-9801. 423-591-9801. Call for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. This is not a commitment to lend. NMLS number 66247. Tennessee number 117278136. Georgia number 16020. Georgia residential mortgage licensee. Equal housing lender.
Hey, what's this fat ugly thing? A frog? A toad? Your mama!
Nooga Radio 92.7.
I lay my head on the railroad tracks and wait for the double E. The railroad don't run no more. Poor, poor, pitiful me.
Who is he singing about? Who is he singing about? That's the trivia question this morning. The first break of Fred the Show. Nobody here named Fred, just the name of the show. The number is 800-89-49.
I found something in the gantry closet that we can give away.
What?
I don't know.
Oh,
I can't tell you. That's a surprise.
You got a couple of packets of salt there.
It'll work.
Well, so salt used to be one of the most valuable resources on the planet.
We got a notepad we'll give away.
Yeah, I mean, whose radio is that?
That's to be given away now.
Whose radio is that?
It's given away.
There's an old mic. If you ever wanted to drop the mic, that's the kind of mic you'd want.
That's right. There. Just pull out George Strait and give it all away.
There you go. You get a drop mic. You get a drop mic. Yeah, Fred the Show. Nooga Radio. Go to NoogaRadio.com and you'll see all the different ways you can listen and or participate. We do have guests coming in later this week. I think I can safely say that Thursday during this time slot, we'll be talking to my good buddy Tom Benson and maybe even Andy Johns from the Lookout Wild Film Festival. I'm a huge fan of that short film festival. And the two things kind of coincide. Lookout Wild, I don't know if they changed venues or not this year. They've been doing it up at the Walker Theater, the new little venue that's above the memorial. And it features films that go for anywhere from 5 minutes to 45 minutes or so. And they're award-winning films, and it goes over the course of 3 or 4 days. You can go whenever you want to go. And I've seen a couple.
Tivoli.
It's going to be at the Tivoli. I thought they may have outgrown it, to be honest with you. And, of course, they got the screen down there, so that does make sense. You got that whole system. And Alex Honnold is I can't say friend of mine, but somebody that I really got to get to know in a long interview. And I think normally when he does interviews with media people, he rarely gets a chance to talk to somebody that actually has any understanding of what it is that he does and why he does it. And that is, he's one of the world's best climbers, possibly the world's best climber, especially when it comes to free climbing. And he has a new movie out that is going to be debuting down at the IMAX, and it's called Free Solo. If you got the Sunday paper and the Parade magazine, they were doing an interview with some actor I do not know. He was from the West Wing, and he's I think he won a Golden Globe doing something. But he said they asked him, what was the best movie you saw in 2018? So he obviously had seen an advanced screening of Free Solo because he said that was it. And this is the guy you may remember, may not have stuck in your head because it's not as important to you, but Alex came in to my studio a year or so ago. It wasn't long before he did this incredible achievement. He climbed El Capitan in Yosemite National Park, which is for most climbers, alpine climbers, it takes 3 days. They actually have to sleep on the rock for 3 days in those weird little hammocks. And that would be so unnerving to me, I can't even describe it to you. Climbing has never been my thing. I've done enough of it to know that that's just not for me. He did it in 45 minutes or something like that, and he did it without any safety gear whatsoever. No ropes, no nets. He literally just climbed with nothing more than his hands, feet, knees, leg muscles, and skill. And at any given second, had he let go or slipped, crank it up, he would have fallen.
I've thought about El Capo for years, and every year I'm like, that's really scary. I'll never be content unless I at least put in the effort. El Cap is the most impressive wall on Earth.
It's 3,200 feet of sheer granite. It's the center of the rock climbing universe.
Obviously, I get interview questions about it all the time. Oh, would you like to do that?
And
like, yes, for sure.
He shocked the world. Now, there were other girlfriend obviously on the wall with us.
Awesome.
Didn't have
pretty much makes life better.
But I promise you, they were roped in about 18 different ways.
It's really hard for me to grasp why he wants this. But
Like
if he
a fly.
doesn't do this stuff, he'd regret it.
Everybody who's
He's a young
made
guy,
for soloing
and he's
a
very
big
smart,
part of their
he's very
life
personable.
is dead now.
And
I
last
haven't
year,
been injured in like 7 years. I suddenly start getting injured all the time.
Look Out Wild Film Festival, they did a movie where actually one of his fellow climbers who had gotten pretty much out of the sport because he had gotten so much into filming the sport that filming climbing had kind of become his passion, and he sort of left climbing behind. So they went on a trip together, and he realized that he no longer had his chops, and he fell, and he wasn't able to, make certain what we call attainment moves, and technical stuff, and he was really down on himself. So then the camera actually, he takes it, Alex Honnold takes it, and starts talking to his buddy in the tent, and he just gets his confidence back. And it was a movie maybe about 9-10 minutes long, and the last thing you see is that guy getting his gear together, and he goes, man, there's only one thing to do at this point, and you see him walking off to a mountain. And it's extremely well done. These things are sometimes remarkably beautiful. Now, they will take your breath away, and some are tragic, some are hilariously funny. They had one, I can't remember. We'll be talking about this Thursday. How many years ago it was? 3 years or so ago. And it was about a African-American man who was one of the world's best known ornithologists, bird watchers. I'm not a bird watcher. I look up. I love looking up. Anything that makes you look up. I'm going to say something about actually our conditions right now in a second, but I'm not a bird watcher. Bird watchers, I can have great respect for them. My wife's father, Dr. Jerry Ingalls, a professor up at University of the South, was one of the world's best known bird watchers, ornithologists. I have a friend who is the state ornithologist for the state of Georgia. I'm actually driving his car right now. And one of my best friends in the world, they're all nuts. And I mean, my friend had known Rebecca for 3 years or so, and all of a sudden he goes, your dad is Dr. Jerry Ingalls? Oh my God. It's like his respect for me went up, 30 levels. Just simply because I was married to this guy's daughter. I mean, anywhere you go, if you go to any sort of Audubon place, you go to a place where they do bird watching, like up at the Hiwassee when the sandhill cranes go in, people, they sign their names in and they put down what they've seen. And I don't think you can find one anywhere in the world where you don't see Dr. Jerry Ingalls, but they're all nuts, man. They're nuts. I'm telling you. There's just it's an elite group of insane people who happen to be extremely smart. But you get to that level of smart where it gets into crazy. That's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. But you don't see a lot of African Americans in the extreme outdoor adventure sports, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why there would not be more brothers on the river or on the wall, or sisters either. I mean, I've never gotten it. I actually had a full proposal that I took to Outdoor Chattanooga and to the mayor before he hated my guts, and made this proposal to try to get some of the inner city youth into some of these outdoor sports. And it just got completely trampled. Now, I've seen a couple of other ideas come up since then where I give my $1 million ideas away just like, they're candy. And I know there's a few programs out there, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. But this film about the bird watcher, it was hilarious. It was very short. And he goes, the risks of being a black bird watcher. Number one, you might be mistaken for the other black bird watcher on a regular basis. And then he tells the story about, keep in mind while you've got your binoculars up to your eyes and you're somewhere on the North Florida line, there are probably houses with Confederate battle flags hanging up, and you're looking over them at the thing that's over there in that Spanish moss, and you look up and suddenly there's a guy standing on the front porch, and he said it's like it can be an uncomfortable situation. And the guy was there, and I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, we also have, I know we got Mickey McCamish coming in on Friday, and Mickey is a Navy veteran and works with Veterans Affairs here in town. Also works with me down at Friends of the Festival, Riverbend. He's a very fine man. And, when they do wreaths across America, which they've done every year for many years, and they lay wreaths on the graves of the folks at the Arlington and the Chattanooga National Cemeteries. And they use scouts and other youth groups to get them out there. This year, they collected, I think, 3 times the number of flags, enough money to buy 3 times the number of flags they've ever done before. And they need help this Saturday in picking them back up because they do retire them. They're like, well, they're wreaths, excuse me. That's the reason it's called Wreaths Across America, but they treat them pretty much like an American flag that's been flown over, a deceased service person's body or a memorial service. And so they're given great respect and they're disposed of in the proper way. And if you ever want to know how to properly dispose of an American flag, let me know. And I'll tell you, because it's something I did with my scout group. And it's something that's very important. I hate to see a tattered flag. I hate to see a flag on the ground. Just drives me crazy. I don't become super patriot all that often, but there are just certain things you don't do. You don't wrap an American flag around your neck like you're Superman and it's your cape.
No. And
you don't let it drag on the ground. It just drives me batty. But anyway, they're looking for volunteers for this Saturday. Mickey will be in, and hopefully, I might have another friend in here who will be giving you some breaking news about some stuff going on in our neck of the woods. And I won't say anything more about that. Thank you to People's Home Equity. People's Home Equity, your local mortgage professionals, chatmortgage.com. Chat, 2 T's, mortgage.com. If you're in the housing market, or, most everybody's going to be in the housing market at some point. Maybe you're not in the funnel right now, but you'll probably get put there and you'll start spinning around. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Remember that. People's Home Equity, chatmortgage.com. They're fine people. All they do is mortgages all day and night long, every single day. NMLS 66247. They sponsor Fred the Show here at Nooga Radio. What I was going to say is we were talking about the post turtle and country sayings. I find it just fascinating to me, the old country folks and some of the sayings they come up with. And when I walked outside a second ago, the official forecast today is it actually supposed to be sunny, right? In the first part of the day.
That was the official forecast.
And there is sun coming down right now, but it's also misting rain. I mean, it's even hard to call it a mist. I just walked just across the parking lot to go throw something in my car during the break there. And I looked up, and the old saying, the devil's beating his wife, which is when you have a downpour in the middle of a sunny day. A lot of times when you see those rainbows. And I've heard it both ways. I've heard it, the devil's kissing his wife, but more often than not, it was the devil's beating his wife. So this morning, it's just this fine mist, like a mist tent you would walk through at Bonnaroo, which we have the lineup, by the way.
We do.
And so he may not be beating or kissing her. I think he's giving her a stern talking to, though.
Is that what he did?
Exactly.
Really, maybe?
Yeah, just a stern talking to. And because it's just a mist coming down out there right this second. So do be careful. That's the kind of conditions that'll get you. Since it has been raining so hard for so long, I don't think there's been a whole lot of oil buildup on the road. But right after you've had a dry spell, and then you just get that little drizzle, that's the slipperiest stuff in the world. And people don't believe it, but you think about all the oil that's been sprayed on the road out of exhaust, and sometimes just out of plain leaks. And then you just put just the slightest bit of water on top of it, it just becomes super viscous. So be careful out there. I think my favorite one of all, though, was if somebody get a chill.
Wait, walking over your grave?
Yeah. I say a cat jumped over your grave, or a rabbit jumped over your grave, or somebody walked over your grave. Now that's a fairly intense, astrophysics sort of situation when you're talking about nonlinear time and things happening in the future that could come back and have an effect on you in the present time. And for old country folks, that's some pretty deep stuff now. They had an inherent knowledge. Poor pitiful me. Nobody wants to take a shot at the unnamed prize. And we haven't figured out what it's going to be at this point.
What is that paperclip you had in your hand?
Absolutely. We'll give that away in a heartbeat. It's about Jackson Browne.
Is it?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's about Jackson Browne. All those LA musicians hung out with each other, and Jackson Browne hit it big. And he was complaining around the table with the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt and Ron Zevon about how these women were just throwing themselves at him. He wasn't getting any sleep anymore. He was partying real hard. And he was just, and they're like going, oh, you poor soul. You poor soul. We're rocking our brains out. We're just working so hard to get some notoriety. And here you are whining like a baby. Jackson, shape up, buddy.
I'm the dude, that or his dudeness, duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news. Now.
Search efforts continue in Saudi Daisy for a pilot and the remains of a plane that went down yesterday near North Chickamauga Lake. Reports say the NTSB can't investigate because of the government shutdown. The remains of a fuselage of the plane that went down were found yesterday. A toddler became the 5th person killed in traffic this year so far. Reports say the child was in the parking lot of a Cancun's on Wilcox Boulevard when a man leaving a gas pump struck him, then reportedly left the scene. He called 911 later to say he may have hit something. Ameline Galloway arrested. An inmate who escaped Hamilton County Jail was finally caught in Bradley County. The Sheriff's Office spokesman Matt Lee said Cody Dilbeck escaped before booking. The first day of school after Christmas break in Sequatchie County went off with a bang. As the school SRO says, a student had a gun. It wasn't loaded, but that student was sent to juvie. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News. Now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
As a small business owner, you know that running a business is no easy task. You're in the office and on your 3rd cup of coffee before most even roll out of bed. That's why you need office equipment and solutions that help keep your business running smoothly. The experts at RJ Young provide office technology that ensures your business's network stays efficient and secure, so you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business. To discover how RJ Young can help your small business grow, visit rjyoung.com/smallbusiness.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
The first responders, these are the men and women who put themselves in harm's way for us. And here at Nuga Radio, we want to do our part to say thank you. On Nuga Radio, every Friday is First Responder Friday. We'll honor a first responder with a thank you gift from Nuga Radio's community partners. If there's a first responder you'd like us to honor, go to NugaRadio.com and submit your nomination. First Responder Friday, sponsored by Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, New York Pizza Department, and Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Have a car wreck in Tennessee? Why hire an Alabama billboard lawyer for your car wreck? You'll never, ever meet that guy. Warren and Griffin work here, live here. You get to know them. You have a car wreck? Call Warren and Griffin. 265-4878, 265-4878. And let me tell you, they've got a killer thing going on right now, the Hands-Free Tennessee petition to save lives and make our roads safer. Put down your cell phones and just drive.
let's play a game. All right. On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
Favorite non-pornographic magazine.
Good Housekeeping.
If you were a chick, who's the one guy you would sleep with?
John Stamos.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Nuga Radio.
Well, he went down to dinner in his Sunday best. Excitable boy, they all said. And he dropped the pot roast all over his chest. Excitable boy, they all said. Well, he's just an excitable boy. He took in the 4 a.m. show at the Clark. Excitable boy, they all said. And he bit the usherette's leg in the dark. Excitable boy, they all said. Just an excitable boy.
Being customer servicing. Yeah. I walked in. He's on the phone. I was listening to this in the monitor. I didn't realize. This is talking about Warren Zevon was an extremely twisted man. This More of the Werewolves of London or Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. This one with this upbeat, catchy little melody going, and it's about a serial killer.
He took little Susie.
And this was the title track.
Excitable boy, they all said. Excitable boy. And he raped her and killed her, then he took her home.
I don't see the church car. I don't see the high school band playing this many times. Imagine my shock the first time I heard a high school band play Black Sabbath. Paranoid, you know. It was weird enough to hear some of the other things that were being picked up from contemporary music, but that was definitely, that was a shocker. That was a stunner. And Ozzy apparently is back in his game. He's back on drugs, and he actually sounds good again. You know? I don't ever encourage anybody to do that, but I mean, Joe Cocker was the best example. When he sobered up, he just sucked.
That's always been the key for Ozzy, though, is the drugs.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so yeah, this is apropos of nothing in the news. Bonnaroo.com. You want to check it out? We need a website of the day, so we'll go with that. Been talking about doing videos of the day every day. I've been very slack in that, simply because the holidays, not feeling as well, not having quite as much time to spend. My second job has been quite frenzied lately as they're getting ready to make some announcements at Riverbend, so taking up a lot of my time. But Bonnaroo, the first time that they had it, we talked about on the air, and what a surprise, what a shock it was. It shocked the world. It completely reinvented the music festival. And it was a complete total sellout, 80,000 tickets without one TV spot, without one radio spot, without one ad in Rolling Stone. And I was raised in the 70s. I've seen a lot of things. I've never seen the laws of God and man defied so just blatantly. And it was absolute freedom. And it was fun. It was life-changing. And it was just magic. It was